Hey, welcome to the Pancreatic Cancer Channel. So tomorrow I have an update or sorry for the noise you can hear in the back. There's some kind of chaos going on outside my window here, and they're like doing some kind of work on the street. And so it's just going to be all this like blam, blam, blam stuff in the background. So I hope that you'll forgive me. But if it makes you feel any better, I am sitting here in my art parlor, and in addition to listening to that and doing this little episode of the Pancreatic Cancer Channel, I'm sitting here trying to paint. Just had a conversation with friends, and this is what I'm working on. It's a turn it that way. It's a nude, obviously, done in oils. There's the palette. And so this is a friend, and she had never had a painting done of her, and she'd never had posed for nude photographs. And so I said, oh, well, if you've never posed for nude photographs, then take your top off, and I will take pictures of you. And then I will make an amazing painting of you. And so that's what I'm doing. And it's kind of funny because the colors that I'm using in this painting, I'm using, like, I haven't painted the figure in this particular style, which is how I do portraits, in a really long time. In fact, way back there, over there are some paintings on the walls there that are done in master style. And one of those was the last thing I did, and I stopped working on it about a year ago, and I have to go back into it and finish it. That is like, hey, I'm copying this particular master, but this is my style. So this is what happens when I say, oh, I'm going to paint a figure. At least this is in what I'd say a 3/4 mode. So once I do another quarter, it will be done, and the figure will pop more and everything. But these colors I've chosen, and they're a bit kind of drab, And I will tell you that although I have, if you look at the palette here, sorry, I'm trying to control this webcam, and it's not working out very well. But if you see, there's only a certain amount of colors on that palette. And the reason is that I have burnt sienna, burnt umber, Prussian blue, white, a cad green, white, and a cad green, and a red, cadmium red, and a lizard crimson. So those 7 colors are all that's in this painting. And the thing is that I'm kind of doing it in almost like a black and white kind of mode. Like, what happens is I'm kind of building the structure and the figure and the form and everything with those colors. And then I'm going to go back in there, and I'm going to, in the end here, I'm going to lay a little bit of some other color in there and bring it out. But it's generally kind of like a monotone painting. And that's what we're getting here. And anyway, I digress. This channel is about cancer. It's not about art. So tomorrow I go see my radiologist, and he's an awesome guy. His first name is Mikhail, and he's a young guy. I want to say he's about 36, something like that. And he's a really cool person. When I met him, I liked him. I'm kind of fortunate because all the doctors, with the exception of just a couple that I don't have to deal with anymore, thank God, that I have met through this journey of cancer, are people that I actually like. And they all have their own approach and their own. Oh, I just saw there's a piece of plastic on this lens. Let's see. Does that take me looking? any better. Anyway, so all these people, I really like them. And this doctor, he's a great guy. He dresses fantabulously, I must say. Like, he's got great taste in shoes, pants, and shirts. And I appreciate that because I'm a little bit of a person that really likes clothing. And uh, yeah, I try not to spend too much on it. In fact, I've been really good. But the nice thing is that where I live is a town that is, well, I live in the Bay Area, in the San Francisco Bay Area, but in the little neighborhood area that I live in, it's like highly populated by incredibly wealthy people. And a benefit from that is that when those people go to the Goodwill or the Salvation Army, they take their incredibly amazing clothes, which tends to be designer clothes and clothes that they paid really good money for, and that's what they drop off at the Goodwill and at the Salvation Army. Yep. So I fortunately have one of each of those stores, not too far, just a walk away from my art parlor, and I go there a couple times a week, just as like a fun thing. I just zip in there. It takes me about 30 minutes because I know exactly where to go and exactly what I'm looking for. And I actually find too much good clothing there. So I have to reduce what I'm buying because it is not uncommon that I can go in there and find some badass Ralph Lauren shirts there for literally $6 each. So in addition, I personally don't want to own a lot of clothes, so that's something that if I get past a certain amount of clothes, instead of adding more closet space in my world, I just give the clothing away. Especially when it comes to incredibly nice clothing like that, I'll give it to a friend or to a homeless person or to somebody I know who it will fit and who perhaps doesn't have the funds to purchase clothing, fine threads like that. So I'll be like, hey, here's a $300 shirt. I think you'd look great in it. And so, yeah. Anyway, I get shoes there. And the last two things of shoes I got are incredible. Like I got these handmade Italian shoes from Milan. For $11, and before that, I got some handmade shoes from England. I mean, the Milan ones are Estones was the designer, and then the other ones, the ones that I got in England, they're handmade in England, are I'm spacing on the name of it, but it's a very famous brand that's sold through Brooks Brothers. And they're like $300 shoes. Again, I got them for $11. Love it. Anyway, again, I digress. I get off the topic here. So I'm going to go see this doctor, well dressed, and he's going to tell me tomorrow about what's been going on with my arm. And so they radiated my scapula, this back area, and it kind of did burn some. And my girlfriend, I remember she was kind of rubbing me on the shoulder, and she's like, hey, your skin feels kind of rough. And at first I was like, I don't know. Like, what do you mean? I don't have rough skin. And then I realized, oh, it is, and it's from the radiation, because they're cooking me. They're basically cooking me. I'm like a big fat turkey that they're radiating in a big microwave of the world. I'm almost done. So some of the pain, I say some of the pain, a lot of the pain has gone, and I have obtained more movement of my arm, although not all the pain is gone, and I still get this pain that feels like somebody's taken a big sword and they've stuck it in my arm here, and they're just like grinding it out. It's terrible, man. It's horrible, horrible pain. So I'm hoping that he's gonna, we're gonna be okay with that, and I'm hoping that this is gonna work more, and that the appointments that I set up in haste because of my high level of pain about my back, that we might be able to delay some of those, because I really hate going to the doctor, and I have to go every 2 weeks for chemotherapy. And thank God that that's all I have to do, because um, it just it doesn't make me happy. But what makes me happy is not going to the doctor. Even with the pain, I can feel a lot of happiness. And trust me, it's really, even if you have cancer, it's still really easy to be happy. Just look around you and see how many, other people are going through tremendous challenges in their lives, and they're um, suffering. And here we're not. So, um, yeah, that's the deal. I guess. What else is there? My chemotherapy has been going all right. I did do my second chemotherapy a week ago, and I have to admit that I've had almost 5 days of just having super low energy and spending most of the day in bed, which sucks. Um, because I just had so much pain. And you're just there, and you're like, fuck, it hurts so much. And aside from that, I also just feel tired. And it's like, you know what, I'm just going to rest here. But I know that even that is bad. Like, you got to get up, you got to move. And I got to move so I don't gain weight, so that my body becomes stronger and everything. And God, it makes me happy. I mean, when I see people on the street, they're like, hey, what's up? You're looking good. And it's always after I went for a walk or something like that. So, um, yeah, so I got to make sure that I do that, even in those moments of despair and, you know, high anxiety about pain, but also just this thing of like, oh, I feel unmotivated. Um, got to do it. So, uh, yeah, what do you do? Advice? Everybody send me some advice. Chances are you'll send me a text or a chat through this channel well past my demise, which in some ways will be funny, but send them anyway, because I promise that in the afterlife I will still be paying attention and listening. And maybe somehow I will be able to send a message back to you through the amazing world of, telekinesis or something, so that my soul can still speak with you and send you a message of acknowledgement that I heard what you said. So I'll try to do that. But I don't want to discourage you from responding, uh, especially if you have cancer, because maybe it'll be kind of healthy if you can send a message to somebody like me. Say, hey, thanks for that video, or I totally understand where you're coming from about that. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm hoping that appointment will come out well. Let's see what else. All in all, I will say that I'm now just a year past having pancreatic cancer, and I think that one of the most important things to remember is that having cancer is not really a death sentence. It's more like somebody ringing the doorbell. You know, um, they're ringing the doorbell, and you're getting this little ding dong, and you can ignore it, right? Which is kind of what I'm doing. Is I'm ignoring the doorbell. I'm not answering it. I'm just being like, whatever. I'm busy. And of course, sooner or later, it's going to come in. And uninvited, as it always is, it's not an invited guest into your world. It's an uninvited guest. But sooner or later, it will come in. And it will through the motions of its purpose. And we just have to kind of deal with it at that point in time. But it's not a death sentence. It's like, I mean, I don't know when I'm going to die. I don't know how that's going to look like. You know, like I could still die in a car accident, or you know, it could be a complication from cancer, or it could be something else. Um, you know. So don't get too low about it. Just deal with all this stuff, and remember that the best thing you can do is just kind of keep marching ahead, which is what I'm doing. I mean, um, as I said it before, I just don't talk about it when I'm not at the doctor's office or I'm not at the hospital for a particular reason. Just doing, you know, dealing with it when I have to deal with it. And aside from that, I kind of live through the requirements of it, meaning I live through the requirements of having to take pain medication or sleeping a lot, you know, that kind of thing, being kind of a little down on the, you know, as far as my energy level and everything, and nodding off occasionally when that happens. I'll just close my eyes like this, and I'll be like, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So obviously, if I lived in a place like my hometown in San Antonio, Texas, you know, I'd have a big place, and I would have different ways of dealing with getting to the doctor's office, you know, dealing with doctors and all that kind of stuff. Here in the city, you know, I try not to do a lot of driving. I don't really have to do too much driving. I mean, sometimes I take myself, and then I realize that now as I go along, it's probably not a good idea for me to drive all the time. So I'm leaning on some friends, asking them to drive me uh, to these appointments, which that is the hard part because you feel guilty leaning on your friends. And of course, they say, "Don't worry about it," and they're happy to do it. So try to turn it into something enjoyable, you know, which is just having a good time. I mean, you're taking them away from whatever is their normal life, so you might as well have a good time doing it. Um, yeah. So that's it for this episode of the Pancreatic Cancer Channel. Have a great day. If you don't make art, try making art. It's actually fun. Um, I have a good time doing it. It gives me a lot of pleasure. And if I can ever answer somebody's question, send it to me so I can do just that. Other than that, I'm going to say sayonara. Adios.